only 2 days remaining in their week together, tensions inside the experiment home have slowly begun to ease.
To a point.
Some hostility does remain.
And most all of it is aimed at Kyla.
I have a right, as an American, to feel the way that I feel, and as long as I'm not restricting anybody of their civil liberties and their rights, as a person, I can speak out about it however I choose.
Kyla is not here with the open mind. It's like she has her own agenda that she's following.
I don't dislike homosexuals. I just don't like their lifestyle.
I can't take her seriously at all. I can't even look her in the eye anymore.
If you say that is wrong, that is part of me.
Right.
You know, and I don't go around saying that your fornicating ass is wrong. You know, that's none of my business. But you live with yourself.
She's sinning, living in sin. She's not married, and she's living with this guy and having sex with this guy, if she wants to go by religion.
It does seems almost kind of like a hypocrisy too.
I can only speak on what I feel inside of me is wrong or right. Regardless of your arguments, regardless of your points or your poking your pride in my own personal life, you can't shake me.
And we're all hypocrites in our own way, but she goes above and beyond the hypocrite duties.
If you went through everything and you followed every single thing in the Bible, that would make more sense to me.
Can I not exist in this world and have my own belief system?
I'm trying to get you to see the contradiction, is what I'm trying to do.
Life is a living contradiction, don't you think?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Whether it makes sense to you or not is irrelevant.
A minority who's faced discrimination and oppression and has dealt with racism or whatever ism it is, to then go ahead and perpetrate it on somebody else and then claim that it's not.
For me, race and sexuality is apples and oranges.
That's pathetic.
Talking to her, it's like it's hitting a brick wall. It's not even going in one ear and out the other. It's not even going in.
Did you ever question anything your parents have taught you in life, or anything that you may have heard, I don't know, at the age of 6, 7, 8, that doesn't quite make sense now?
But if it wasn't taught to me, if no one ever said it to me, it still would be the way that I felt on the inside.
I doubt that.
I doubt that.
Well, I mean, you can. I don't give a damn what nobody else thinks, really. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And I think that, I can exist in this house by myself.
I get along without you very well.
You have never been an understanding person in your life, and I feel sorry for you.
Truly, when I leave here, I'm going to go back to my house with my man that I stay with and live my life accordingly. And when we have a child, we will raise our child not to be homosexual. And if it happens to end up being homosexual, we will still love that child, but we will still speak out against it.
Don't put that agenda or that statement on anybody else, including your children, because if you do, my feeling is that if you do, and let's say they do turn out gay, they've been hearing that now for the last 15 years, and they internalize it, and they'll internalize it as something evil about them.
I would bet you a lot of money she has a gay child.
God has a funny way of playing jokes, and I think one of her kids will be gay.
I think that for people, sometimes we just have to understand that we may never touch.
Right.
But as long as we get close, sometimes that's just enough. And maybe what I've been believing all this time was wrong, because I've never questioned it.
God just doesn't reach you through that Bible. God doesn't reach you through a book and what to say, what to do, all this stuff. People, I think it's ultimately life. And like these experiences that teach each other, there's a bigger love. And I know that there's something beyond those words on those pages.
We've been sent here to love one another. It just clicked all of a sudden.
It's not for other people to try to fix us, but it's also to see yourself how you could love us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree 100%. I think that it's just time to do a little growing.
If you've got something to say, why don't you say it?
I totally acknowledge that you feel that when I say that being gay is a sin, that you feel that I'm being judgmental. I acknowledge that, and I take that to heart. I can't call her a sinner because she doesn't have the same belief and value system as me. So if it was me doing it, then I would be sinning. But since she's doing it, she has the right to do whatever she wants to do. That makes perfect sense to me.
Replace any of these sexual things with race or with religion or any sort of discrimination. I mean, it opens the perspective up a little.
You've got something to give, why don't you give it to me.
We don't want to be judged on being black. We don't want to be judged on having premarital sex. I was like, that's kind of hypocritical. And I'm like, so, duh, Kylie, you got to get with the program.
And all these games that you play, don't tell me how a man should be.
You have every right to cry about that because it's hurtful. I understand.
Ultimately, it's Larry's emotional breakdown that starts to truly affect Kyla.
It really is a reality check for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's important. It is. It's so important. Because I mean, if my child's homosexual, I don't want my child to feel like I'm, you know, alienating them or not loving them.
Why can't you reach inside like I have? Like I have for you?
I think my thought process has changed. If my child turns out to be homosexual, I think that I wouldn't encourage it, but I wouldn't discourage it. I think that's where I'm at. And that's going to be his or her life's journey. I don't think that I would condemn him. And I got to find some way to be able to love them in spite of and support them in spite of without, you know, being judgmental. I think that my compassion for kids, you know, that is what's shining through here. And it's going to be a learning process, I guess, for me. I feel like I would be okay with that. I used to think that I wouldn't be, but I think that I would be okay with it. And that's just going to have to be a journey of growth and understanding.
You better watch yourself, cause you're not far from the ground. What if one day this all falls down?
At least she can be more clear when she talks to her children.
She may take something with her, but whether she puts it to use is something different.
Do I buy the fact that she's opened her mind at all? No. Do I understand that she's learned what to say in certain situations? Yes. That's what I believe.
For the sake of understanding, to end ignorance, and if I have to be the sacrificial lamb for that, then I think that this is all well worth. No regrets, no condemnation.
If you've got something to say, why don't you say it? If you've got something to give, why don't you give it to me? Day after day, I have to say it. If we've got something to say, why don't we say, hey?